Hello, everyone, and welcome to our podcast. This is JB.
And I'm Chandler, and this is the Unbiased Hard Take.
And on today's Unbiased Hard Take, we have our Thanksgiving special. As you can see, I am wearing my Cheesehead, the best side piece in the NFL. No disrespect to your terrible towel, because that is legendary, but nothing like the good old Cheesehead. So, speaking of Thanksgiving special, Packers play on Thanksgiving tomorrow. That is why I'm wearing my Cheesehead. So, JB, before we get into the Thanksgiving special, we can't forget Week 11. It was a very good week. What's one topic that you want to talk about from Week 11?
Well, I want to start off saying I am thankful that Matt Canada is fired. Yes! Finally! I am so thankful for that, and it is a good time. It is Thanksgiving, and that's what I am thankful for. Anyways, what I am for Week 11. I was Browns, Steelers. It was a tragic game. I think that's the reason why Matt Canada got fired. Is because of that game. Like literally, if you look at the I forgot what it's called, but what the NFL does, they put a chart where passes go and how they run and stuff. So majority of the passes are all short routes. Every time, every play is short routes, screens, or a run, or a little dump off. But that game was dumb. But the one game that kind of shocked me a little bit was the Bears and the Lions game.
The Bears played them very well.
The Bears played them very well, yes. Justin Fields, he did his thing. He went 16 for 23, which is horrible. With only 169 yards, but one passing touchdown. That's good. But he was his old self. He was doing running back things. So good job, Justin Fields. You had 18 carries for 104 yards. Jaylen Warren had less carries than you and had about same yards. So good job. But Jared Goff came back and won the game for him, even though he threw those 3 picks early in the game. But he came back and he won it. And shout out to the Bears lineman for kicking the ball back in the end zone. Good job. This is why you're a lineman.
That's right.
But all in all, once again, Bears choking again. They're going to get their first round pick. They're going to get their quarterback is probably going to be Caleb Williams or Deion Sanders' son. I keep forgetting his first name. He has
Sanders.
Yeah, him. But there's your franchise quarterback right there. Justin Fields is going to be a running back, or he's going to be kicked off the team like the rest of the Bears quarterbacks. I'm still gonna say Jay Cutler and Rex Grossman are probably the 2 best quarterback in your guys' franchise in a long time. I'm just saying it now. And you said that they sucked? No, they didn't. Because who brought you guys to the Super Bowl? But
Rex
lost.
Grossman did.
Exactly, Rex Grossman.
And Jay Cutler had him in the NFC Championship game against the Packers, but they lost.
Yep. So, what other 2 quarterbacks in the Bears franchise actually got done that?
Oh, Jim McMahon. He won the Super Bowl with the Bears in '85 with that '85 Bears defense.
I'm talking about like in a 10, 15 year span. Who else?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, no one.
It's simply Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler is the best quarterback the Bears have had in the last 20 years.
Yep. But the one thing that Rex Grossman has above him is that he led the Bears to the Super Bowl, and Jay Cutler didn't. But once again, Bears choking again. But yeah, that was my take. The Bears come back with a win, and the Bears choking again. So congratulations, Bears! You're probably gonna get your first round pick, and you're gonna get Caleb Williams. So there's your franchise quarterback right there.
I'm not a fan of Caleb Williams. That is not the time for that. Because, as I said, I'm wearing my cheese head. And I'm wearing my cheese head for a reason. I got excited in my short take because I have to apologize on the podcast to Packers Nation and all the other Packer owners out there. I apologize. Because, like you did a few weeks ago, you kind of faltered back on Pittsburgh and picked them against a certain team, and the Pittsburgh Steelers won. I did the same. I picked against Green Bay. They proved me wrong. So I apologize to the Packers. I won't make that mistake twice. With that, though, Jordan Love had his best game as a pro. He had, as I said in the podcast, the short take previously, 27 for 40. So his completion percentage is very high. 0 turnovers, 2 touchdowns, 322 yards. A career high in passing yards. That is the best we have seen Jordan Love against a talented Charger defense, underperforming, but that's what the Chargers do. I'll talk about them a little bit more in a minute. But I want to talk about the Packers. Those 50s throwbacks, those are slick. I like those throwbacks. Those should be our throwbacks every year. Those are nice throwbacks. So I want to add that on there. But you look, a lot of our young players making a difference too. Jaden Reed, 46 rushing yards and a touchdown. You look, he also had 46 passing yards. So he's sort of like a poor man's Deebo Samuel.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, because he's doing end arounds. He can run the ball. He can catch the ball. He's a Packers #1 receiver. And he's the rookie from Michigan State. Yeah. He's fast. I like what I see. And then you got Wicks, who was a 5th or 6th round pick. Don't quote me on that. But a later round pick. He led the team with 91 receiving yards. Dobbs and Watson found the end zone. So these young core with Jordan Love is starting to gel a little bit. I think Jordan Love is the guy moving forward. I want to see what he does tomorrow on Thanksgiving, however.
Good. Yeah, with the Packers actually coming back, it was tied at half. You know, it was good. It was good football. But yes, Jordan Love with that pass, with that touchdown, with the late touchdown pass, brought them to the victory. So, you know, good job for Jordan Love on that.
And may I say, his first game-winning drive of his career. And it came at a good time because I was tired of losing.
Mm-hmm. And he did good. 27 for 40, 322 yards. With 2 touchdowns. His QBR is 54.5. But in Justin Herbert, 21 for 36 with Tony Romo numbers, 21 for 36, 260 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an 82.8 QBR. And for Green Bay, I mean, a lot of run game, a lot of people rushed that game.
Yes.
But Jaden Reed, only 3 carries for 46 yards and that touchdown. Wish that was huge for him on that part, because for the longest time, I mean, now the Green Bay Packers does not have that run game anymore, not like they used to.
And I don't really know why, because we have talented running backs. We've always had a good running game. You go back to Ryan Grant, Amon Green.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Eddie Lacy for his prime years until he got lazy. I mean, we've always had a decent run game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it. It might just be one of those years. I don't know. Aaron Jones has been banged up quite a bit this year, on and off. He's missed a couple games here. He's out tomorrow already. So he's missed a lot of games this year. And A.J. Dillon, it's time to let him go. I hope this is his last year in Green Bay.
Ooh, that's a hard take.
It is a hard take. He's not playing well. Yeah, I mean, Sunday he averaged 2.1 yards a carry. He had 29 yards on 14 rushes. That's horrible. That's pedestrian numbers.
Yeah, and Jaden Reed with only three carries and 46. I mean, his longest was 32, but after those 2 carries, I mean,
Right, that
it
was the big
really,
touchdown.
Yeah, that was that big touchdown. But other than that, I mean, your guys' run game is, I want to say horrible, but it's pretty bad.
Pedestrian at best.
Yep.
It relies on a lot of end around reverse plays by Jaden Reed. That's what got us that big touchdown.
Yep.
But speaking of the Packers, we're going to pretty much move right on to the Packers because, again, this is the Thanksgiving special, so a lot of Thursday games tomorrow. So you look at Week 12. All right, we're going to move on to Week 12. JB, first game tomorrow, first game of the week. Thanksgiving traditions, the Lions play. As a sports fact day, go check it out. So, Green Bay at Detroit, Thanksgiving Day, 12:30. Who you got?
Man, it's always been a rivalry when it's Thanksgiving and it's Packers and the Lions football. It's probably one of the best traditions in Thanksgiving football history with those two coming at it. And for a while they really haven't been playing in the Thanksgiving. So I was really shocked about it, but now we're back in the same old, same old. Um, but for me, I'm gonna go with the Lions, even though they had a rough start against the Bears last week. I mean, they're too good of a team. Their record says it for himself. They are 8-2. They are probably playing their best football that the Lions organization has ever seen in a long time, probably ever. Um, but yeah, Jared Goff, he led that team back to or to a win, and their defense just balled out at the very end. Um, I mean, Amon St. Brown, I mean, he's a force to be reckoned with. Montgomery, he's also a force to be reckoned with. It's just that whole entire team, that whole entire organization. What Dan Campbell is doing in the locker room, it's amazing what that team has went through, and what it's overcome in the past few years. Um, and for me, in a year or two, they might win a Super Bowl. Honestly, if they keep this up, they're going to be win a Super Bowl team. So I'm picking the Green Bay Packers. Not the Green Bay
Detroit
Packers,
Lions.
but I'm picking the Detroit Lions. Sorry, once again, another blooper. I was looking at the Packers, and so picking the Lions this game. I'm going to keep my mouth shut down.
Okay. You know, everything you said is correct. This is the best we've seen the Lions in a long time. They weren't even this good when they had Megatron and Matt Stafford. And Matt Stafford's the Super Bowl champion. Megatron's in the Hall of Fame. We were there that night when he got inducted. So, there's to say that even Barry Sanders, who in my opinion is the best running back of all time,
Mm-hmm.
that's my opinion. You could debate it, but that's just me. Even he couldn't get the Lions where they are now. And you're right. However,
And Herman Moore
I don't
and
care. Because the Packers beat the Chargers, and no one thought that would happen, including me. I'm not making that mistake twice. The Packers upset the Chargers. The Packers are going to upset the Lions. The Packers have owned the Lions forever, and they're going to continue to beat them. They're going to beat them again on Thanksgiving. Packers are going to win. Jordan Love coming off his best game as a pro. Yes. This is my upset of the week. This is a gut feeling. This might be my fandom and my heart speaking, but I'm going with the Packers. I'm not making that mistake twice. Go Pack, go!
well, right now this season, Lions are 1-0 against the Packers. So
They are.
let's see if they make it 1-1 or 2-0. We will see.
We shall indeed. I'm going with the Packers, man. That's my fandom. I can't pick them. I can't pick against them after what they did last week. I was very impressed with that young football team on a short week. Yeah, go Pack, go! Speaking of Thanksgiving football, we got another one. Here's another tradition. The Washington Commanders at the Dallas Cowboys. This is a good Thanksgiving tradition, too, in my opinion.
Even though the Commanders are 4-7, Sam Howell, he's he's been that guy. I would admit he has been that guy for quite a while now, and he has proven that many times. It's just they get hot in the first half and they just let go in the second half, which that's what is a terrible bummer for the Commanders. They cannot take command. But I'm going to pick the Dallas Cowboys on this game. It's just the fact that the game or the Cowboys, they have a tradition of this season. They win against horrible teams that has horrible records. Washington Commanders has a horrible record. Not I want to say a horrible record, but a bad record. So I'm going to pick with the Cowboys because all the teams that they face, so for all the wins that they got this season, all the teams have horrible records. And the teams they lost have great overalls. Not overalls, records. So I'm going to pick with the Cowboys on this one just because of the tradition that they're going or the road they're going in right now.
You know, you're absolutely right because you look. I'm going with the Cowboys too because you look. Here's who the Cowboys have beaten: the Giants, the Jets.
Horrible.
They lost. They lost to the Cardinals.
Horrible.
They beat New England.
Horrible.
They lost to San Francisco.
Horrible.
They beat the Chargers.
Yep. Horrible.
They beat the Rams.
Horrible.
They lost to Philly.
Good team.
In the last 2 weeks, they've thrashed the Giants and the Panthers.
Horrible and horrible.
Right, so they're going to go out there and they're going to thrash the Commanders. So we're not going to take command. No one's taking command of anything. The Cowboys are going to go out there on Thanksgiving in front of the whole country and win. And the Cowboy fans like Skip Bayless and all the annoying ones on the internet are going to go, "How about them Cowboys? We're going to Super Bowl." The Cowboys are going to win this game. I don't think it'll be close. And I don't think it'll be close based on what the Commanders did last week against the Giants. That was a abysmal performance against a Giants team that can't find its ass from a hole in the ground. Because you look, the Giants beat them 31-19.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Howell had 3 interceptions. The Commanders played horrible football.
They did.
Ron Rivera is probably not going to be the coach next year. The Commanders have new ownership. Yeah, Dallas is going to go in there and they're going to thrash them. Give me the Cowboys.
Yep.
All right, here's a good game. The San Francisco 49ers at the Seattle Seahawks. Also Thanksgiving football.
Ooh. Oh. Both two great teams. And it is in Seattle. This is going to be a good game. Two high-powered offense. 49ers has slightly a better defense than what the Seattle has. Man, this is a tough one. I'm going to go with the 49ers. I'm taking the 49ers on this one.
And I'm 100% with you. The 49ers, as I've said many times, are my Super Bowl pick. When they lost those 3 games in a row, I told everyone not to freak out, and you did as well. You said the same thing, and we're absolutely correct. Every team goes through a slump. The 49ers are back. They're healthier at this point now. They just went in there in Tampa Bay and Jacksonville and won. So, you look, Seattle they kind of laid an egg late in the game against the Rams. I think that was more of a fluke because the Seahawks are a better football team. You look at Geno Smith. He's 12 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 89.7 QBR, 2,404 yards. So he's playing very good football. The Seahawks are still 6-4 and going to be a playoff team. They're just kind of like the Steelers of the NFC, like I've said. They win ugly football games, but this isn't going to be an ugly football game because the San Francisco team is just way too talented. They're way deeper. You think?
Everyone's
Do
healthy.
the Seahawks, they're not better at quarterback, Brock Purdy.
Mm-hmm.
They're not better at running back because you've got C-Mac.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. I mean, Seattle's good at receiver, but in my opinion, I think I would take Deebo Samuel and the San Francisco crew.
Mm-hmm.
That's me. And their tight end's better because George Kittle's top 3, top 5 tight end, however you want to look at it. And the San Francisco defense is better overall.
Yep. Even though when they just got Chase Young.
Yes.
So you have Chase Young on one side and Nick Bosa on
Yes.
the other. So that is two forces to be reckoned with on each side. So, and we're also looking at the injury report with these San Francisco and the Seattle. Gino is questionable. Kenneth Walker is doubtful. So that's
Their best
probably
running back.
so. Yep. So and that was from today. For an update
Right.
on it. But on 49ers, the only person that they have two outside tackle and a guard. The guard's Aaron Banks, and the offensive tackle is Spencer Bruford. But the one is probably going to hurt very little on 49ers defense is Tenalua. He is on injured reserve, so that is
Yes.
a little hurtful on that. But I still think that they are a good enough. They have good players as backup in the safeties, so I don't think I wouldn't say that he'll be missed, but it will be a slight change in the safeties.
I think it's a big hit because their secondary hasn't performed as it has in the past, and he's one of the best safeties in the league.
Yep.
So and I mean, you look Geno Smith. The reason I mentioned him is he's expected to start per NFL Insiders. Like you said, Walker, who has 613 yards, 6 touchdowns, and is averaging 4.1 yards a carry, is not. So, and too many question marks for Seattle. San Francisco is just a better team, and they're my Super Bowl pick. I'm rolling with the Niners this week.
Yep.
They're just better on too many phases. All right. This is a Black Friday game. First time ever, by the way. So who you got on the first Black Friday game ever? The Miami Dolphins at the New York Jets.
I mean,
Zach Wilson news has been benched. Tim Boyle is going to start.
Boyle. Oh, Boyle. Boyle.
Who is the Packers' former backup? That is to be mentioned.
Boyle. Oh, good old Boyle. I mean, there's no question about it. It's gonna be the Dolphins. It's the Dolphins. Just it. I mean, do I really have to go in depth of why the Dolphins are going to win? Even though Tyreek Hill is questionable, Raheem Mostert is questionable. All three Salvin Ahmed is on IR, and then we got Raheem Mostert is on questionable, and Devon Kane is on questionable as well. So if we actually look at it, it's quite a bit they have a little bit of a running back problem, but they could still play. So, but yeah, just give me the Dolphins. The Jets are horrible without Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers probably would have made a huge difference on the offensive side.
Oh yes, it would have for sure.
Even though he had Zach Wilson had some little moments, here and there, but just didn't give them gave them a win on some of them, especially the Bills game. That game, that's probably when he balled out on that game. But Zach Wilson sucks. So
Yeah, his time in New York is over.
Yep. Third string, here we come.
Exactly. I mean, I 100% agree with you. Yes, Miami did disappoint slightly against the Raiders. I don't want to say the word disappoint because they still won the game. That's ultimately what matters. I mean, they went out there, Tua had 325, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Tyreek Hill is he's a beast. I mean, 10 catches, 146 yards, 1 touchdown. But
Yep.
like you said, there are some question marks on health. But overall, I think Miami's offense is just way too powerful, even if they are missing a player or two. And New York is not going to be able to catch up. Even if Tyreek Hill doesn't play, Mostert doesn't play, Mike McDaniel's an offensive mastermind. I think he might be the most intelligent offensive coach in the league. Tua was an MVP candidate. Tim Boyle, who has a career 3 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, is not going to go out there and outscore Tua. It's not going to happen.
Boyle.
It's not happening.
Yeah, it's not.
The Dolphins are going to win this game, and I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to play again this season because the Jets are going to be out of playoff contention. What's the point? Yeah. Miami wins. I said New York's season was over after week 1 in that podcast. You can go back there and refer to that. I said the Jets season playoffs hopes were done then. They're definitely done now. Miami wins.
Yep.
Here's a big game. NFC South matchup here. The 5-5 New Orleans Saints, who are first in the division, or the 4-5 Falcons, who are right behind them.
I can't believe a team that's 5-5 is first in the division.
I mean, are we really? I mean, we kind of knew that division was kind of the weakest in football.
Yeah, that is true. I'm not baffled, but it's pretty sad.
4-6 Falcons. I apologize. Correct myself. 4-6. This is a big division game for that because the Saints win this game, they get a little bit of leeway.
Yep. I'm gonna. Oh man. Oh, Derek Carr is questionable, and once again, Michael Thomas is on IR.
He's always hurt.
He's always hurt. I think he should just retire at this point. I mean, he'll never play a full season in football ever again.
Yeah.
But I'm probably going to go with the Saints on this one.
I mean, yeah. And Derek Carr was a full participant in Wednesday's practice. So typically when you're a full participant, you're expected to play. And the Saints don't play a Thanksgiving game. They play Sunday, so they don't have a short week. So he has a couple more days to rest. Bless you. That's a fancy mic you have there, my friend.
I know.
But yeah, I mean, you look at the Saints. I had the Saints winning this division. I told you that it kind of be a slugfest, probably not the prettiest thing. But I mean, Derek Carr, I might probably want to play. Alvin Kamara, he's a baller. Chris Olave, he's an outstanding player. Taysom Hill's a Swiss knife. The Saints have a very good defense. I don't trust the Falcons. They're inconsistent play at quarterback. They've started multiple quarterbacks this year. I picked the Saints to win this division. I'm picking the Saints to win this game. Give me New Orleans.
Yep.
All right. And it's mentioned to say that Derek Carr has also had a bye week coming off in week 11. So he's had extra time to rest. He'll play.
Yep.
All right. Moving forward. The Pittsburgh Steelers at the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow is out for the season.
Yep. So he is the backup quarterback, which I forgot his name. What is the backup's quarterback's name? Hold on. I'm looking right here.
Jake Browning.
Oh, so Jake
will start.
Ooh. Dang, they have 4 quarterbacks. All right. So
Well, they
Jake.
probably have to. They probably have to now that Burrow's out.
Yep. So, with that being said, once again, we have a backup quarterback situation. Let's hope on quite a few people. I kind of want to point out for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Jeff Saturday quoted on today that Kenny Pickett is playing for his job. And to me, I kind of believe it. I mean, I don't want to say that it's Matt Canada's fault that it kind of ruined his career. I don't want to say his career, but this season so far. But it's more both. Yeah, I think it's Kenny's fault that this is a slugfest on our offensive side of the ball. It is. It's horrible. He's 170 for the season, 170 to 281, 1,722 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. I mean, you might as well have Bryce Young as quarterback right now. Because, I mean, at least Bryce Young's doing a little bit better than what Kenny Pickett is doing right now.
Really? That's a hard take, in my opinion, because here's how I view Kenny Pickett. Right now, he's a game manager. You look at his stats. He doesn't make mistakes. He's never been the reason the Steelers have lost a game. Here's the problem. He's also never been the reason they've won. You know what I mean?
Yep. But
he doesn't make mistakes. He's a game manager right now. 6 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. The dude's only had, literally this season, he's had 1 game with multiple touchdown passes.
And that's the thing.
That,
and for the 3 years last year with Ben and the 2 with actually with I hate saying his name, Mitch Trubisky and Kenny Pickett for the second year, for the 3 years that Matt Canada has been in office or has been the offensive coordinator. Last year with Ben Roethlisberger, which it was a even season. Ben did his thing though, because I think at that point Ben didn't care, so he just chucked the ball down the field the far as he could, and it was an 8th grader could probably pass farther than him at that year. But then the second year you had Mitch Trubisky and Kenny Pickett coming around. And then you had, this year with Kenny Pickett, majority. When he was hurt a little bit, you had Mitch Trubisky coming in once in a while. But you never had a 400 total offensive yards in those 3 years. Over 400 teams total of those 3 year span had over 400 yards, and yet we could barely manage to get 200. That's saying something. So I'm glad, like I said at the beginning of the podcast, I am thankful. It's for one, it's Thanksgiving, so I am thankful that the Pittsburgh Steelers finally, it is, and what Stephen A, I'm going with the next one, that what Stephen A said. It is long overdue. Way long overdue. We should have fired him at the beginning of this season or in the middle of last season. He's trash. He's absolutely horrible. So I'm glad for that, like I said, I do believe what Jeff Saturday said. Kenny Pickett is playing for his job. So if he does not perform with his quarterback, because right now the offensive coordinator is the quarterback coach, our quarterback coach. So if he does not perform well this season, I do believe Kenny Pickett will probably be gone. Either that or probably be benched. and we'll probably find another quarterback, or Mason Rudolph will be our starter quarterback for next year. It's not going to be Mitch Trubisky. He sucks. Well, I think after this season he's going to be in the free agent because we signed him for a 1-year deal, so he's going to be gone. I want him to be gone as well. So we'll sign someone in the offseason, or Mason Rudolph is going to be our starter. So hopefully for the rest of the season, Kenny Pickett does an amazing job, and we'll show the world why we want Kenny Pickett to stay on the team. Even though half of the Steelers fan base wants Kenny Pickett gone, and the other half wants Kenny Pickett to stay, I'm in the middle. There are times where Kenny Pickett could be amazing. And there are times where he's just flat out horrible. But for this game,
And
go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No,
I'll get to mine in a minute.
I was going to pick my pick is going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers. Once again, I do have a strong feeling that our quarterback coach hopefully will make some good plays or call some good plays. Because this was a quarterback coach for when Ben was around, I think with closely to the end of his career. But that 1 year before that, he had a tremendous season, which we all thought was like, yeah, Ben's got to stay for another 2 more years. That next season it was complete. Yeah, I don't want to go there, even though that year was very emotional. But yeah, I'm gonna pick the Steelers on this one, just for the fact that the Bengals is banged up. And hopefully Minkah Fitzpatrick, he's been light on practice, doing light things. So hopefully he will be he will come out and play. But give me the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And I agree, Pittsburgh. I have Pittsburgh here. But I'm going to kind of take your Kenny Pickett analysis because I have a different perspective on it. Because you look at Mike Tomlin. Recently, he kind of clapped back at reporters a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were giving him Kenny Pickett's QBR and stuff. And he looked at him and said, well, what's Kenny Pickett's QBR in the fourth quarter?
Exactly. That's why I'm in between right now. It's just that fourth quarter and everything is it's amazing.
Here's the thing about sports that me and you both know. Winning solves a lot of problems. If you're winning, who cares about your stats?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's Mike Tomlin's way. Mike Tomlin's
a defensive coach. It's always been Mike Tomlin's way.
And that's really always been Pittsburgh's identity. Yes, they've had Ben, but
the 3 Bs, really the 3 killer bees, which we should have won. But Super Bowls.
But you look, Pittsburgh when they won Super Bowl 40 with Seattle. Yes, Ben won the Super Bowl, but let's be honest, that defense was the reason they won that Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
A second-year quarterback, Ben was very good. But you look, even Super Bowl 43, that defense was elite with Troy Polamalu leading the way.
Oh, yeah.
So that's always been Mike Tomlin. The Steelers have always been the steel curtain, defense, toughness, loyalty, and that's the key right there. That's why I think Kenny Pickett's going to stick around, because it's of loyalty. The Steelers develop well.
He's still going to be around, but if he doesn't show up for the remainder of the season, with his quarterback coach calling the plays, I do believe he'll probably show or gonna have a few moments during next season. But if he does not perform well with the remainder of this season and next season, I think it's gonna be bye Kenny Pickett. That's my take on it. But hopefully he will show everyone that he's the amazing, or the not, I won't say amazing, but he's the reason why
At
we
least
drafted him for.
and you look, he's a first round pick. He's from Pittsburgh University. He's a
Yep.
hometown kid. Mike Tomlin, I think, is going to stick with him because they draft and develop. Now,
Mhm.
this is a big thing. I think, let's say his stats stay the same, the offense stays the same throughout the rest of the season. Nothing changes.
I hope not.
That's a horrible situation. That's a horrible thing for you. But let's say they continue winning these ugly games and they get in the playoffs. I don't think it's going to matter because so long as they're a playoff team and they're being a contender, I think they're going to stick with them. Now, they start losing games and losing some of these ugly games and not make the playoffs, then I think there will be some eyebrows raised.
Mhm.
But right now, they're in the playoff picture, and you look, the Bengals are banged up. Jake Browning's the quarterback. The Bengals, I'm going to say this. Their season is over with. They're not making the playoffs. It's over. They need to start thinking about the offseason. Because you look right now, I mean, they're 5-5. They're tied with the Broncos and Colts. And they're behind the Bills, who are also on the bubble. And the Steelers are the 7 seed. So with Jake Browning, it's over. The
Mhm.
Bengals season's over. I'm going with Pittsburgh based on the Bengals' health. I think it'd be different if Burrow was playing. I would take Cincinnati if Burrow was playing. But because he is not, I'm taking Pittsburgh to win another ugly football game.
Which has
I
always
know that's
been
not what you want.
which has always been every year. We always win the ugly football games. I mean,
And I
it's
think that's going to be the case this week.
yep.
All right. This is a good game. Moving forward, this is a sneaky good game. Jacksonville at Houston. This is a divisional matchup. And this is a big division game for that division as well.
Mm-hmm. Ooh. I mean, looking at it,
Mhm.
both teams are. I want to say they are equally matched. Because you got Trevor Lawrence versus C.J. Stroud. Total touchdowns. Lawrence has 11. CJ has 17. And then you go to Etain versus Singletary. Even though Etain is better on numbers. 174 carries, 670 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Singletary is 114 carries, 471 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And then Nick Collins and Christian Kirk are head to head. Nick Collins has 1 more touchdown than what Christian Kirk has. 672 yards for Christian Kirk and 696 for Nick Collins. So it's neck and neck on that one. But with everything, man, this is a very tough one. Even though I'm looking at the analytics according to ESPN, 57.1% is going to Jacksonville and 42.6% is going to Kansas City. And I'm probably going to go with the Houston Texans. I'm going to go with I'm going with the Houston Texans. I think CJ Stroud is going to show off once again why he is a MVP candidate and a rookie of the year. I mean, like, who puts up 17 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 223 with 335 with 296 or 2,962 yards. I mean, he's probably on pace to get like over 5,000 at this point.
I mean, it's pretty. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it's close.
It is very close. Let me look at this here. I could probably. He is projected to get 5,035 yards.
Right, as a rookie.
As a rookie,
That's insane. We've never seen anything like that ever. This
Nope.
has never been seen in the modern NFL ever.
Mm-mm.
Andrew
So,
Luck had a great rookie season. Not like this.
nope.
Cam Newton was great his rookie year, but
Never
not
like
like
this.
this. Never
And
like this. This has never been done.
and only 29 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. That is projected, and his rating is a 99.3.
Right.
So,
This is exciting because we have our first different game since the Green Bay game because everything you said is spot on. I hear you, my brother. I do. I do. But you look, Houston's record right now is 6-4. They're currently a wild card team. And you look at the Jacksonville Jaguars are 7-3 and currently first in the division. Why is that important right now? Because Houston's already beat Jacksonville once. So, if Houston wins, that would make their record the same, meaning that the Texans have swept the Jaguars and own the tiebreaker, meaning they could very well possibly win the whole division.
yep.
But I have a hard time. I'm not an analytics guy, so I hate agreeing with the analytics. But I'm going with Jacksonville simply off the fact that I have a hard time thinking that Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence, who I think is a top quarterback in the league, I would say Trevor Lawrence is a top 10 quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And we could sit here and name them off. I'd have to make my list. I haven't made a list like that. But I think Trevor Lawrence is a top quarterback. I mean, they won a playoff game last year. When was the last time Jacksonville has had an elite quarterback? I mean, you look last year, 28, 5 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. This year, 11 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 92.2 QBR. And are first in the division. They're winning games. They have Calvin Ridley, who's a baller. Travis Etienne is a baller. They have a really, really good team. Christian Kirk. They're more experienced. They're playoff experienced. Houston is young. Based off that, Jacksonville's been here before. I think a big game like this, Jacksonville wins. I think it's close, but based on experience and locker room chemistry, which I think that's a big thing. I know a lot of people kind of roll their eyes at locker room chemistry. Anyone who's never been a part of a toxic locker room, go ask the Raiders with Josh McDaniel what a toxic locker room will do. I think locker room stuff matters. Based on that, Jacksonville wins.
Even though they are... Oh, it is in Houston.
It is in Houston. It's at Reliant. I know it's not Reliant Stadium anymore. They change the name of stadiums every 3 years now in the NFL.
Like
that's what I call it.
Yep. The NRG
right,
Stadium.
Well, whatever. Whatever, who cares? It's like Miami Heat, American Airlines Arena. You can call it whatever you want, but it's the AAA arena.
I like the Steelers, and
Heinz Field. It's what it is.
It's always going to be Heinz Field.
It's Heinz Field. All right. Moving forward, we got to talk about our home state here.
Ew.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield, Tom Brady Jr., the GOAT, gonna take him to the Super Bowl. Tom Brady, Baker Mayfield. Or the Indianapolis Colts.
I mean, yes, the Buccaneers has been struggling for a little bit, but it's to me, I think it's going to be a good matchup. I think it's going to be an even 50-50. But to me, I'm probably going to go with the Buccaneers on this one. Because Tom Brady Tom Brady
Jr. taking them to the Super Bowl. Ooh, boy.
Which, actually, he's having better numbers than some of the quarterbacks, or some of the elite quarterbacks here.
He is.
I mean, he's doing what Baker Mayfield did when he was a Cleveland Brown.
Yes.
great stats. Brought the Browns to a playoff. They should have kept him after that injury, even though the Browns thinks like, oh no, we're not gonna keep him. We're gonna give an elite quarterback over $300 million
Guaranteed.
and yet he is injured once again. So yeah,
Injured. I'm not buying it. I'm not. I don't care what the injury report says. I don't think a lot of players fake injuries. Injuries are a very serious part of football. I'm not
Yep.
saying that. It's bull crap. It's bullshit. He is over. No.
but yeah, Baker Mayfield, he did amazing things when he was at Cleveland. Yes, he was bouncing around team to team, but honestly, he should have stayed as a Cleveland Brown. He should have kept that. They should have kept Baker Mayfield to him to develop and actually have good receiving core like they have now. But I'm gonna go with the Buccaneers, even though there's quite a few. Levante David and Devin White are both questionable, and so is Chris Godwin. And then you got the Colts, but I mean, the Colts are the Colts. They will always have injury problems. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with the Buccaneers.
And I'm going to talk about the Buccaneers. First, I'm going to make a side note. Tampa Bay has a lot of talent. You're right. 100%. Mike Evans is the most disrespected receiver in the league. He is a Super Bowl champion. He has had 1,000 yards every single year of his career.
Mm-hmm.
He is a Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you recall, I drafted Mike Evans, and people were in our fantasy league, in our personal fantasy league we do, and people flamed me.
Mm-hmm.
People were flaming me, and I kept telling them he doesn't have Tom Brady no more. He didn't have Tom Brady before, and he was having 1,000-yard seasons, elite numbers. He is a elite receiver and deserves respect.
Yep.
However, the Buccaneers are not winning a lot of games. Yes, I think Baker Mayfield is at least a solid to slightly above solid quarterback. But I mean, you look at the Colts; they're a better overall team. They're 5-5. They're actually only one game out of playoff contention. Tampa Bay is. I mean, I know they're not eliminated, but let's be honest, they're out of playoff contention. Their playoff percentage is less than 50%. It's not a likelihood they're going to make it. I mean, the Colts are only a game out, so the Colts are winning ugly football games. They just beat the Patriots, who is an arch rival of theirs. I know it's not the same as it used to be, but me and you both being from Indiana know Colts fans still hate New England.
Mm-hmm.
Hate them. It's a big rivalry still, especially in the part of the world we're from. The Colts are being competitive. Gardner Minshew, in my opinion, is the best backup quarterback in football. And I think he's proving it. He's keeping him alive. He's keeping him in games. They're winning ugly football games. So, I think it's going to be the case here. I think the Colts are going to win a game that's ugly. The record speaks for themselves. The great Bill Parcells said, your record is what you are what your record says you are. So with that, give me the Colts.
And I want to point out, I don't know if you knew about the news about the Indianapolis Colts, but
Yeah,
the
they
Colts,
released Leonard.
Yep. For what
Right.
reason? I mean, that was their main person on their defense. So, I mean, I really don't want to read, or actually, I kind of do want to read why they released him at right now. But yeah, that was a very shocking thing that happened when it came over my news feed. I'm like, what? It's like that's their
Yeah.
that's their key to their defense, and they just released them.
Yeah.
But I really don't know why they released him. Colts fans, comment down below. Tell us why, or what do you think why he got released, even though there was a huge article of why he got released. But let me know. Let us comments down below and let us know why he got released.
Absolutely. Colts fans, let us know. However, we're going to move on to the next game. We just talked about the Colts beating New England, so we're going to go into New England. Oh boy, the New England Patriots at the New York Football Giants.
Oh
God, take
man,
me. Toilet Bowl Part 3. It's a trilogy.
it is a trilogy. Oh man. I mean, the way that the Giants played yesterday last week,
Yeah,
they actually showed
they were
out.
great.
They balled
They
out.
were great.
Defense looked amazing. The offense actually looked amazing. Apparently, mommy making the bed at night for DeVito actually pulled off. He actually looked 100% better than what Daniel Jones has been doing. Only 2 touchdowns and 6 interceptions, and yet you have mommy's boy over here, which I'm not, saying anything's wrong with mama's boys, but already starting off the season with having 2 touchdowns. Daniel Jones could barely do that. So, but with everything being said, I am probably going to pick the Patriots on this game.
Oh.
Just for the fact that yes, they're 2 horrible teams. Giants are 3-8, Patriots are 2-8. But the run game for the Giants, excuse me, man, is horrible. Saquon Barkley has been, on and off of injury lately. Saquon only has 103 carries, 651 yards, and only 1 touchdown this season. So if you look at it, it's not looking good. If you even look at the backups, it's not even looking good. Patriots has a slightly better run game, and if DeVito actually still pulls it off and actually looks amazing, Giants will win. But I do believe the Patriots are going to overcome. The Giants defense is horrible. They just played one good game against a somewhat mediocre team. They probably couldn't do that again if if their life depended on it. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Patriots on this one, just for the fact that the Giants cannot do it twice in a row. So give me the Patriots.
Okay. See, we're on a streak of 3 in a row now because I have the Giants. And here's why. New England is pardon my language if people get offended, they are a shit show. Jesus, mother of God. They lost 10-6 in Germany. That is horrible. They still haven't announced who their starters are going to be. Question marks at quarterback. Is Belichick going to be around next year? They're 2-8, like you said. New England is atrocious, and I understand Saquon's rushing numbers aren't the same, but I mean, you look on top of it, he does have also 4 receiving touchdowns, and he has 162 receiving yards. So Saquon's a dual threat. So we can't forget he has 5 total touchdowns. And I mean, you look, the Giants scored over 30 points against the Commanders. They forced 3 interceptions on Sam Howell. DeVito, best game of his career by far, with 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. I think the Giants have more talent on the offensive side of the ball. The Patriots are stale. I don't really like anything about their team. They need to start over. They are in a rebuilding stage, and I think they're going to be in a rebuilding stage for a while. Mac Jones is not the answer. Bailey Zappi is not the answer. Belichick's getting to the end of the year. There's already hot pressure on him right now.
Mm-hmm.
New England, their lucks ran out. The Giants want to win this game, I think.
Okay.
Okay, let's see if we have another one here. See if we can get 4 in a row. The Carolina Panthers at the Tennessee Titans.
Whew. Yeah, this is a very tough one again. Man. I mean, I wished that Bryce Young would actually do something a whole lot, I want to say, better than the past few quarterbacks of what the Panthers had. But it's not. It's the same outcome. Andy Dalton probably would have been better at this point. But if I really want to look at it, I think the Tennessee Titans are going to win this one. Just for the fact that the Panthers are in a horrible situation right now because they got so many and they have so many injuries at this point, and Tennessee Titans, they're just having all questionable, so that pretty much they are all going to play. So yeah, give me the, even though the past 3 games the Tennessee Titans has not been looking good, especially against Jacksonville, Tampa Bay, and the Pittsburgh Steelers. They all lost, and the same thing with the Panthers. They lost to the Colts, lost to the Bears, even though they probably shouldn't have won that game or shouldn't have lost that game. For once in the Bears franchise of this season, they actually came back and actually won. And they lost to Dallas, which is no shocker.
No.
So
Okay.
but yeah, give me the Tennessee Titans.
It's unfortunate that we can't hit that streak some more because we're on the same page here. I mean, you look at Carolina; they've been abysmal. I mean, and I can't 100% put it on Bryce Young because the talent around him is not that good. They don't have any receivers. I mean, Adam Thielen's probably their best receiver, and he's old and not in his prime anymore.
Yep.
You look, Tennessee's better at receiver. They have D-Hop. Tennessee's better at running back. Tennessee right now is better at quarterback because you look. I mean, yeah, you look at Bryce Young, 9 touchdowns, 8 interceptions in a quarterback league where QBR, quarterback rating, we go by the opposite ratings, I've noticed. But the QBR where 75 is average, he's 74.7, so below average. He's turning the ball over. Will Levis, you look at Will Levis' stats. I'm not a Will Levis fan. I don't think he's the future. But he's definitely playing better than Bryce Young. 6 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 89.3 QBR. Tennessee's more talented. Tennessee has a better record. They're on a losing streak, but I expect them to beat the worst team in football. The Panthers are the worst team in football. Frank Reich's seat is hot. That's what NFL reports say. Things aren't looking good. And they don't have a first-round pick next year because they traded it to Chicago. I don't like what I see. Yeah, Tennessee wins.
Good job, Panthers.
Here's a sneaky game we got to think about. The LA Rams at the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals are playing teams very well. They're sneaky, as are the Rams.
They are
2 sneaky teams.
Oh. Man, this is also a very, very tough game because Kyler Murray's back and he's actually looking, pretty good. Even though for the season so far he has 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, even though he has missed the majority of the season right now. Matthew Stafford, 2,260 yards with 9 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. Run game is about the same, even though Williams has 6 touchdowns. James Conner has 2, and once again, he was also injured for majority or half of the season. And for all people that actually shocked everyone, Nakua.
Okay.
He's actually looking really good. And Hollywood Brown, it's about or not the same, but yeah, it's 400 yards, so not too bad. But all in all, I am going with the Rams. I'm going with the Rams on this one.
I 100% agree. I'm going to say something that I'm going to get into the game a little bit first here. I mean, yeah, you look at Kyler Murray. You're throwing me off here with your stats because you're killing me. Because you forget Kyler Murray also has ran 2 in.
Yep. Oh, I know.
I like to go by
Total.
So he's a dual threat.
Yep.
Right. So total touchdowns. So you look, he has 3 touchdowns, 2 turnovers. And I mean, let's be honest, he doesn't have the most talent to work with right now. Let's be honest. So Kyler Murray's an explosive player. He's a solid passer, but he gets most of his plays by his running. You look at the Rams, though. I mean, Sean McVay owns Pete Carroll as of recent. I mean, Matt Stafford went out there and looked good. Cooper Kupp did get hurt. Puka is looking good as well. I think he'll be in the running for Rookie of the Year, but C.J. Stroud has taken off for it. But Puka is at least deserves to be mentioned. He's had a great rookie season as well.
Mm-hmm.
The Rams are a well-coached football team. The Rams are going to win. They just beat Seattle, who is a playoff team. Seattle's a playoff team, and they just went in there and beat them.
Yep.
So with that being said, I want to talk about the things we'll talk about. Matt Stafford is a Hall of Fame quarterback. That's an opinion of mine. I mean, you look at the stats. The stats say so, and he has a Super Bowl ring now to back it up.
Yep.
So with that, and I know a lot of times quarterbacks are based off of their playoff success. He has not had a lot of playoff success up until his Los Angeles season where he won the Super Bowl. That's what matters. Do guys hardware. Matt Stafford is a Hall of Fame quarterback. It's close. Here's Hall of Fame line. Right here.
Mm-hmm.
Here's where Matt Stafford is. It's barely, but he's a Hall of Famer.
Barely made it.
Known, I think that.
Barely made it.
Yeah. But the Rams want to win.
True.
Quick, do you think he's a Hall of Famer?
Yes.
Matt Stafford?
Yes.
Okay. Without the ring, everything stays the same, but he loses that Super Bowl in the Bengals, is he?
Yes.
I don't think he is without the ring. Not enough playoff success. But
well, if you actually look at Dan Marino has no Super Bowl.
But
and
he had multiple playoff appearances.
It was somewhat there. But I mean for going into the Hall of Fame, you have to look at their stats and Super Bowls. They really don't care about. For me, I'm not one of the analytics or anything in the Hall of Fame, but I really don't think they don't count the playoff appearances. It's more of your stats for your career and how many Super Bowls you've won. Because you look at Dan Marino, amazing player during his regular season for his whole entire career. And then playoffs, he way underachieved in the playoffs and never went to the Super Bowl. So, and Dan Marino is in the Hall of Fame. So for me, even without that Super Bowl, Matthew Stafford is a Hall of Famer.
I think playoff appearances do matter. Because, I mean, it means you're competitive. It means you're always in the running. I think playoff appearances are a super big thing in Hall of Fame criteria. Now, rings obviously mean way more. That one ring for him does tremendous things for his career outlook.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, all those years, I know Aaron Rodgers only has one ring. But I have a hard time believing all those years after we made the playoffs multiple times. Multiple times. That has to count for something.
It does, but if you want to look at also stats, what the stats look like in the playoffs, I mean, like I said, he underachieved of those. So,
and I mean, yeah, I could agree with that, especially with Dan Marino. Him not having a ring is definitely held against him.
mm-hmm. But they also looked at his regular season stats, so that's why he's in the Hall of Fame. Not because of its playoffs appearance and what he did in the playoffs, which was mediocre at best, but in the regular season it was like god tier.
Peyton Manning like.
Yeah, Peyton Manning like numbers. So
yeah, because he was. Okay. I think we see where each other's coming from. Speaking of football, here we go. Cleveland Browns at the Denver Broncos.
Oh man, I don't know what flipped the switch or what happened to the Denver Broncos. I don't know. I don't even know what happened. They are on a 4-game winning streak. Russell Wilson is back. He is back. Broncos country, let's ride. I am picking the Denver Broncos on this one just for the fact that the Denver Broncos are back on their Mustang and they are riding it out. They shut out Kansas City. They came back and won against Green Bay. They came back and won against Buffalo. And they came back and won against Minnesota. Like I said, I don't know what flipped the switch of why they are four game in a row team right now, but I don't know. I don't know, but I am picking the Broncos on this one just for the fact that one, the Browns has a rookie quarterback and he sucked against the Steelers. He threw that interception. And the Denver Broncos as actually showing up on defense when needed. So there's that. So in facing, like I said, rookie quarterback, and he sucked against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And right now for the rest of the season, the Browns are shot. All they have is their defense to depend on them, and I don't think the defense is not going to show up and give them all the points that they get. Because I'm sorry, but the Cleveland Browns defense is not a 14, 21 point defense. They're probably like a 7-point defense. They can get 7 points on the ball on the board, but that's it. So give me the Denver Broncos. Broncos country, let's ride.
And that's why I was putting my head down, because me and you agree it's Denver, but I hate that saying. Broncos country, let's ride.
Broncos
but you
country.
Look, I mean, truly,
let's ride.
It's true. I mean, they started 1-5. They are now 5-5 and 1 game out of the playoffs. So they're in playoff contention. They're on the bubble. They're, as me and you refer to as, in the hunt.
Yep.
So they're in the hunt for the playoffs right now. You look at Russell Wilson. I mean, yeah, I think he's about 90% back. I don't think he's quite what he was in Seattle. He can't move like he did. But 19 total pass touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 3 QBR. I mean, Sean Payton has him playing very efficient football, very smart football. He's not going out there and throwing for 300 yards anymore, but he's playing smart football. I mean, you're 100% right. They've went on a tear, and it hasn't been against piss-ass football teams either. Yeah, the Packers have a losing record, unfortunately, but the Bills have a winning record. They beat them. They beat the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
They held the Chiefs under 10 points. And they beat the Vikings, who were on a win streak themselves on Monday Night Football. So, I mean, you look, they're on a tear. They're in the playoff contention right now. And I'm picking them also because Dorius Thompson-Robinson hasn't thrown a touchdown in his whole career yet. 4 interceptions. QBR 42.4. Horrible. Nick Chubb is out. The running game's not where it was. Yes, Cleveland's probably a playoff team this year, in my opinion, but
I don't think
I don't.
they're not gonna win the rest of their, or they're probably gonna win like probably one or two of the rest of their games. That's it. I don't think the rest of them they're gonna lose the rest of their games, majority of their games at this point.
See, I think, yeah, I want to see what happens with Denver first. I want to see, because I mean, you look, yeah, they're winning games. I can't deny it. They just beat Pittsburgh in an ugly football game, so I think this is a close game. Dog pound. But I agree with you. Denver's on a roll. They're beating good football teams. They're gonna win.
Yep.
Moving
right.
forward, the Kansas City feast. Wow, we're gonna feast tomorrow. It's Thanksgiving. Kansas City Chiefs.
Blooper.
Blooper. Or the Vegas Raiders. The Raiders.
I really want to root for our Purdue quarterback, but I don't think that's not going to happen. Kansas City is too good of a team to lose against to a horrible team. Yes, even though they lost against Denver Broncos literally shut them out. Offense and defense, they shut Kansas City down. Pardon me, but yeah, Mahomes looked horrible against the Broncos that game. The whole entire team looked horrible that game. But with that being said, Kansas City, I'm picking them just for the fact that the Raiders are in shambles at quarterback, and they don't think they always will be. So, give me
I
Kansas
don't
City.
think the Raiders. With the Raiders firing their coach, I mean, they're 5-6, so they're not like right. So they're not like a laughing stock. But they need to hire Antonio Pierce to be their coach. Otherwise, we're going to be here in 2 more years talking about them firing their coach again. The players respond to him. I mean, so you look, they played Miami well. And when teams like this, you look, I'm not a big moral victory guy, but when your locker room's in shambles, you want your players to go play for your coach.
Yep.
They held Miami to 20 points. They only lost by 7. Yeah, O'Connell had 3 interceptions, unfortunately. So kind of back to reality for our boy here. Kansas City's defense is the best part of their team. I think we're in that part of the Mahomes dynasty or the Mahomes era because his contract's expensive. They don't have Tyreek Hill anymore. Travis Kelce's getting a little older. He's still the best tight end in football, but he's getting a little older.
Even though there is talks that he might be retiring.
He's mentioned it, right? I've seen that as well. So you got some question marks a little bit.
Because of the injuries that he has. So.
Right. And the Taylor Swift thing, he's probably more worried about.
He probably wants to start a family. I don't know.
Jason Kelce has a family and he plays football. However, Kansas City's going to win this game. They're still a top team in the AFC. They're still an elite defense. Mahomes is still the best quarterback in football. They still got Kelce, Andy Reid. I think they're definitely going to win this game. But I think the Raiders will play it a little closer than some people think because their players really play well. They play hard for him. And they do have some talent. Max Crosby, Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfro's a good second receiver. So they got some players. So they'll play it close. But Kansas City's going to ultimately get it done.
Yep.
Here's one. All right. The Buffalo Bills, who are 6-5 right now, at Philadelphia.
Even though the Eagles barely won against Kansas City. Jalen Hurts couldn't hit at the bright side of a barn that game. He went 14 for 22, 150 yards, and 1 interception. So I still don't understand how they won, in my opinion. But they did. Even though Jalen Hurts did run the ball, he had 2 touchdowns. So, with that being said, Jalen Hurts had 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. But man, he could not throw on. He can not hit the bright side of a barn on that game. I mean, it is what it is, but I think the Bills are still struggling, even though they killed the Jets. But honestly, it's the Jets. Come on. Even though the record shows that they won 4 games, but honestly, those games they shouldn't have won. But with that being said, I'm going to pick the Philadelphia Eagles just for the fact that the Bills are still, I want to say they're still working things out, but I don't think it's not that time yet. So the Bills are not that team that we think they should be. So I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yes, and I figured we'd be opposite on this because you're right. Everything says pick Philadelphia. But the NFL is always evolving. Upsets happen every week. Buffalo is a good team. They're a winning football team. They're 6-5. They're fighting for their playoff lives right now. Josh Allen is an elite quarterback. I think, yes, Philadelphia may damn well be the best team in the NFC. I think San Francisco is. That's my opinion. But Philadelphia could definitely be argued. I can't deny that. They're definitely right up there. But Buffalo's fighting for the playoff lives. Josh Allen is an elite quarterback. I have a hard time thinking Buffalo's going to miss the playoffs. I think ultimately they're still going to get in. And Philadelphia's only lost 1 game this season. I have a hard time thinking they're not going to lose another game. I think this is a very good chance for them to kind of be sort of on upset alert. I don't think you would be super surprised if Buffalo won. I don't think anyone would be like, "Oh my God, Buffalo won!" Not. So
except for Philadelphia fans, except for Eagles fans, they will.
Yeah, that's because they're loud and obnoxious. They're a good fan base though. Good fan base, just loud and obnoxious.
Mm-hmm.
They probably take that as a compliment in Philly. But I just think Buffalo wins this game. This is simply a gut feeling because Jalen Hurts is an MVP candidate right now. I mean, you look at Jalen Hurts, 15 pass touchdowns, but that's not the kicker. 9 rushing touchdowns. So, I mean, you got the brotherly shove. Philadelphia is a physical team.
The tush push.
Tells me Buffalo. Tush push. But you give me Buffalo on a gut feeling. I don't know, man.
Ooh. All right.
Ha! I love this team. The Baltimore Ravens at the Los Angeles Chargers. Sunday night football.
Sunday night football. On a Sunday night party. I'm gonna pick the Baltimore Ravens. Just for the fact that the Chargers.
We just lost 10 subscribers because of your singing.
I know. Darn. Oh well. We'll get him back. We'll get him back.
Hey.
But for me, I think the Chargers lose the charging thing. I think they ran out of voltage. They need to get their batteries charged because the Ravens are way too much of a powerful team. Even though they did lose their main tight end for a season-ending injury, in which now what I was told that the hip toss tackle is about to be called a hard hit because so many players are getting injured. And yes, even though I'm doing air quotes for that injured part, because it is part of the game. You will get injured. You will get hurt. It's football. Let's bring
That's my
back
point.
let's bring back the old. I don't want to say get rid of the player safety program that they have right now. Let's go.
I'll say get rid of it.
Let's say we'll go back to the '08 Pittsburgh Steelers, where the reason why this was pointed out is because of that defense right there. 3 people body slamming it or slamming you right after trying to attempt to catch a ball. You get flattened out. Antonio Brown kicking a punter. I mean, let's be real here. That is the reason why we have this player safety is because of that team, that defense right there. So blame us all you want, but that was one of the best defense you could probably think of because they changed the game completely. Troy Polamalu coming in and clapping everybody. Got Ryan Clark also clapping everybody. James Harrison coming out and flattening people out, putting people in. I don't want to say body bags because he didn't want to hurt you. He just wants you to get out of the game. That's what he said. And Ben one of I don't think it was Ben Roethlisberger's podcast, but he did say, I meant to hurt you to get out of the game. I don't meant to hurt you to end your career. So, but yeah, that defense was amazing.
And you're absolutely right. I'm just tired of it's football. They're ruining the game. I hate to say that.
We might
But
bring out flag
technically-
football
I mean,
just
the Pro
because of
Bowl's already flagged.
all pro flag
mean,
football.
I mean, the Pro Bowl's already flagged, so we're probably not super far from there.
Nope.
But I mean, you're right. I think Baltimore wins this game. Baltimore's biggest question's always been injury. Mark Andrews is hurt. I know Lamar didn't come out of the game, but he was even limping around a little bit after I hit. He took on the sideline. Odell Beckham had a small injury at the end of the game as well. So Baltimore's
shocker.
biggest question. Right. Baltimore's always kind of had health issues. They're already down the main running back for the year.
Yep.
But the Chargers, their season's over. Brandon Staley needs to be fired. You have Justin Herbert, who is, as I have said, this generation's Tony Romo, and this continues to prove it. I mean, the Chargers their seasons. I mean, there's no coming back from where they're at right now. They just lost to Green Bay. That was catastrophic. Brandon Staley should have been fired. That's what I'm going to say. Chargers will continue charging, and they're going to lose in front of the nation once again. Justin Herbert, most overrated quarterback. Said it all year. But I'll leave that there. Moving on to Monday night, last week. Last game.
Night
Football. That's right. Chicago Bears at the Minnesota Vikings.
Man. It's real tough one. I'll keep saying it. That I will never pick a Bears ever again. Because how they screwed me over. I forgot it in week 4. I think it was.
It was a
week 4.
toilet bowl.
Yep.
It was against the Broncos.
Yep. So yeah, I would never pick the Bears. The Bears suck. Let's just leave it at that. I already talked about how the Bears sucked. Give me the Minnesota Vikings because they are on a tear. Not just because of who's the quarterback right now, but he's Joshua Dobbs. I'll keep saying it. He is looking amazing once again. He looked amazing against the Denver Broncos, even though that one or two plays that happened that should have been, you know. But I'm just going to keep it at that. But Joshua Dobbs is looking amazing this season. I do believe he will be the Comeback Player of the Year award for the multiple teams that he's jumped around on, being his backup, not getting his shot, and now he's getting his shot, and now look at him.
Yeah, he's definitely the comeback player of the year.
I think this season is a lot better than what Geno Smith had last season.
It absolutely is, because I mean, you look. He has a little bit of. I agree with you. Minnesota wins, but you look. He has a little bit of Ryan Fitzpatrick in him, kind of that Fitzmagic type of stuff. You know what I mean? And you look. Jordan Addison's a very good rookie receiver. They have T.J. Hawkinson, who, in my opinion, is the second best tight end in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so and Minnesota was on a winning streak up until the Denver game, and they had the lead all the way to the fourth quarter, and then they only scored 3 points, and they allowed 12 to Denver. I think, and Justin Jefferson is questionable. So, however, Coach Kevin O'Connell did say that he is getting closer, but we do have to be smart. So we'll see about him. But either way, they were winning games without Jefferson. I bet against Minnesota a few times when I shouldn't have. I hate the Vikings. A stupid horn that goes off every time they get like a 9-yard first down, and it goes doo doo doo. Stupid thing I've ever heard. But stupid. Skull. Shut up, Skull. Go skull your trophy case. It's empty. Ooh, burn.
Skull.
But Vikings win.
Skull.
As you can see above us, also there are no teams on bye week this week. But as you can see above us here, I've hit the 100 mark. I am at 104 and 60. JB is close behind me, still tailing at 99 and 65. So only a 5-game difference. Over 160 games predicted, so it's real tight. We got a lot of different games this week. However, me and JB are going to kind of switch over to the world of college football for our subtopic here today.
College football.
And with the college, that's right. With college football, there's the best rivalry in college football: Ohio State versus Michigan. JB, you have 1 minute to tell me who you think's going to win the Michigan-Ohio State game and why. Go.
Oh, I think it's going to be Ohio State, just for the fact that I hate Michigan. I hate them. I think Michigan or Ohio State is the fact that the better team, in my opinion, better receivers, better history, better everything. So I don't like talking about either teams because I think that because I hate them both. But even though their last matchup was in November 26th, so roughly around this time of 2022, Michigan did clobber Ohio State 45-23. But it's just for the fact that I just hate them both. But I'm gonna go with OH. Supposed to finish. OH.
Okay.
Nothing.
And then we absolutely disagree here because, like you said, Michigan owned them last year. You look at Michigan, the more physical football team. They have one of the best running games in the country. Ohio State's running. You look. Ohio State's run game isn't even top 5 in the Big Ten. That's not good. You look. The last 21 times these teams have played. I seen this stat today. The last 21 times these teams have played each other, the team with the more rushing yards has won the game. Michigan easily, in my opinion, has a better rushing. They have the better quarterback. McCarty is a top prospect in the draft. They're the more physical team. Ohio State's more flashy. They have Marvin Harrison. Jr. They're a flashy team that has good highlights, but they're kind of soft. They don't play a lot of physical football. And you kind of seen that on the NFL side. That's why Philadelphia beat Kansas City. They're more physical. Michigan, I think, is the more physical team. I think Michigan's going to win this game.
Okay.
And I hate Michigan. I want to make that my last couple seconds here. Jim Harbaugh is arrogant. I'm not a fan. They're cheaters. I don't think that's why they win games. Obviously, they're a talented football team, but I can't stand Jim Harbaugh. But I have a hard time picking against Michigan because of their physicality.
Yep. And I do agree.
All right, we'll have to pay attention to that game because we got different. Ohio State, I got Michigan.
Yep.
So we'll keep an eye on that.
I just hate Michigan. I just hate it. They're arrogant. They're arrogant. I mean, same thing as Ohio, but I like Ohio State a little bit more than what Michigan. It's just Michigan fans. They think they're all that. Basketball, football. I mean, every sport that they think they're the best, but yet they're not.
They ain't won a national championship in ages.
Nope. Even though they had a shot and then they blew it against TCU.
That's right.
So.
But that's all the time we have for today's unbiased hard take. JB, anything else you want to say?
Nope. I just want to say I am thankful since tomorrow is Thanksgiving. Fired Matt Canada. That is wonderful. Chandler, what are you thankful for?
I'm thankful for my Packers. I am thankful they beat the Chargers. I am thankful for my wife, my kids, my family. Thankful for you, my brother. I'm thankful for all of it. Yeah, that's what I'm thankful for.
And there you have it. Tell us what are you thankful for, and what is your favorite food in Thanksgiving? I like ham.
That's right. Stuffing.
Ooh, stuffing.
I like the stuffing. Give me the stuffing.
I just came with a funny saying, but I'm not gonna say it because it's very dirty. Anyways, like, comment, subscribe. Facebook is gonna be linked down in the bio. As everything else, go Steelers.
And happy Thanksgiving, y'all.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Y'all have a great Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving from the unbiased hard take to you. So with that, that's all I have. Everyone be safe out there. Go Pack, go, and let's go Heat.
See you next week.
Next week.